All right, so we are going to start by modeling the passenger section in the Automoblocks page. So I'm going to start by creating a sketch here on the front viewing plane. And I'm going to start just with a regular rectangular box. And if we notice, the dimensions on these is 1.53. So I'll tab over to 3.17. And there are radii on the upper corner, so let's go ahead and use the fillet tool. I'm going to select this, and that radius on the outside is 0.3 on this. Let's go ahead and put these in all four corners where those will show up. Hit enter to place those. I also have a little cutout over here, so let's go ahead and we're going to create this little cutout here. So I'm just going to create a rectangle here, and I need to look at the actual dimensions on the detail view, detail A, and that shows me that this is a 60 thousandths by 60 thousandths deep. So I'm going to go ahead and type 0.060. Tab 0.060 and hit enter to place that. Now, that dimensionally constrains the size of that groove, but it doesn't dimensionally constrain the position or the location where that groove is. So taking a look over on our drawing, we need one more dimensional constraint. So I'm going to dimension from here to that top edge. And according to our handout, that is 0.3. So let's move that back. So now I've got that dimensionally constrained exactly where that should be. I'm going to go ahead and we'll trim out some lines. So I'm going to have to trim out and click this twice. Because if you remember, I used the rectangle tool to create both of these. So I basically created a rectangle on top of the rectangle. The line for the rectangle, for the smaller rectangle, was placed on top of the line that was originally drawn. So there were technically two lines there, and I had to delete both of those out to get that taken care of. Now I'm going to go over and we'll do the same thing here on this side. Now, if everything works, this is kind of a little close. You can kind of add these constraints where it's already going to be in. Now, see how I've got these two lines kind of populate that. Now, by doing this and getting those lines to be kind of highlighted, we're also constraining the two of those features here together. So let me place both of these here. So, and I can say, all right, I want this to be from here to the bottom one. So let's get that back in line. So till they both fall in. Now, sometimes you can see it doesn't exactly like the way this is. So if you're having problems with it, just go ahead and dimensionally constrain it, 0.060. So tab over, you can kind of click on there to place that to. Now at this point, you're going to have to do the same thing. So we'll have to dimensionally constrain from here to there, which we know that was also 0.060. So moves that and opens that back up, and then we can trim this out here and get rid of both of those lines. Just as a double check to see that we actually constrained that, if I select and try to dimension from the top over, that should automatically lock in. Notice it is showing me 0.3. Now, because that's constrained on the other side, when I click this and go to enter it, if it were fully constrained, it would kind of prompt me and say, hey, you're tied in with another one there too. So kind of keep that in mind as we go with these constraints. So I now have my sketch fully finished. Let me go ahead and finish this sketch out. And we now can extrude this shape back. So I'm going to extrude this shape back. This is going to be 3.17. So, and I've got that part of the body finished. So now I'm going to come in now and we're going to create the geometry on the inside of this front face here. So we'll go right back to our different rectangle tools here, and again, I'm not too concerned. If you want to go ahead and put the dimensions in now, you can, but we can dimensionally constrain this with the way it is shown on the actual print to get everything in. So let me go to my dimensional constraint. So we see from that line over to there, this is 0.390. So I'm dimensionally constrained that. Now I can either dimension to get this horizontal, the length of this line, I can either select the line and get the dimension, or I can say I want to select from here to here. In this case, we'll go ahead and dimension the actual line, and that should be 2.4 to place that over. So that gives me my those dimensions. I also have some other dimensions here, these vertical dimensions that need to be taken care of for my horizontal line. So they are dimensioned from here to the top edge is 0.3. And then, of course, from this line to that line is 0.93, 0.93. So, oops, not 93. I messed that up. So hit escape, double click on this and go 0.93 instead of 0.093. That gets it back in place. So, and as we take a look at this, we notice that there's 200 thousandths radii in the corners here. So let's go ahead with the fillet. This is going to be a 0.2, and we're going to select all 4 of these to place these as well. Hit enter to place that. Now I've got to, now that sketch is finished, and I'm going to extrude this back. So again, this is going to be extruded back minus 0.57. So minus 0.57. So we've got that in line. So let's rotate around here to the other side, to the back side, because we also have the back side to be doing. So let's go ahead and click in here. So we're going to sketch on this surface now, kind of doing the same thing. So just kind of draw your rectangle and start to add in your dimensional constraints. Now notice these are not the same dimensional constraints as were on the other side. So make sure that you are following along and using the correct constraints here. This one is going to be 0.27. So I've got from this line to that, dimensionally will be from here to there. Oh, let me hit escape twice and turn on my dimension tool again. So from this line to that line is 1 inch. Notice this is saying it's over constrained sketch. So somehow I have a feeling that something picked up on one of the back lines. So I'm going to kind of delete that out. Notice here as we go through. So some type of a constraint exists there. So if you're aware of it, we can take care of it. So but we've got something else going on. So the best way in this case, I'm just going to kind of hit my undo here. So we're going to get rid of that. So I have a feeling it picked up on, notice it picked up on this corner. So this is the center of that radius. I think when I kind of clicked in there, it auto snapped on that and kind of locked it into that place. So this is important to understand here as we go. Be careful when you're drawing these to make sure that you're selecting and not picking up on things that might automatically put constraints onto your part. So let's go from here to there. This is going to be 0.27. So we're back in business here, not a big deal. So let's go ahead and do the line length of this one, which will be 1 inch. Now I can dimensionally constrain from this line to there, which is 0.34, and from this line over to that line, which is 2.5 inches. So those are constrained. And again, I've got a fillet radius in these two, which is also 200 thousandths. So just go ahead and put that in each of these corners to give a fillet radius in there. Hit enter to drop that in. Let's finish this sketch. Notice how it kind of moves where I can still see this. We're going to extrude this one back. This is going to be a cut going back 0.57 on this side. Make sure, now notice when I put in plus 0.57, it caused it to change to a join. So let's change that to a negative 0.57 so it's a cut. Click OK. So that comes out and we've got that in line. I'm going to come up to my home view now. Now we have one more feature to sketch. We're going to sketch this on the top plane. Be careful and watch your dimensions. Make sure that you're getting these correct. So another 2-point rectangle. I'm just going to kind of place these in line. Let's go ahead and dimension the overall. In this case, we are coming from this front edge to here is going to be 0.82. So that's 0.82, and then we have another 1.59. So if I go with this line, we're going to go 1.59. All right, now notice how both of these lines went along with each other because they are kind of constrained together when we created a rectangle. If we used the line drawing tool, they may or may not have been constrained that way. So just some of the other differences that you may get as you're looking at this and doing this. All right, so another dimensional constraint is going to go from this edge over to here, which will be 0.6. And 1.98, the length of this line will be 1.98. So now I did the line length. If I wanted to make sure that it can fully constrain, maybe I would go from one line to the other. So there are some differences there with that. And here we also have fillets in the corner. So let's go back to this, and this fillet is going to be 0.2. So let's go ahead and get these corn fillets placed. So there we go. Finish this sketch. So rotate up, and lastly here we're going to extrude this down. So this is going to be a cut here, and this cuts down a minus 1.07. So hit enter. So we've got the passenger section taken care of. One last thing we want to do to this, so I'm going to come up here. First off, let's do a file save here. So let's go ahead and save this. This is going to be saved as passenger section hyphen your first initial followed by your last name. Make sure you're saving it in your Automoblocks file folder. So that's saved. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to right click and go to physical material. We're going to assign this some material. So notice, let's go down. We want wood here. Let's see what we have. Ash, birch, cherry, Douglas fir, mahogany, maple. We're going to select birch. So, and I'm going to take and drag and drop and apply that birch to it so that you can kind of see what that looks like. If you don't like that, maybe let's see what the some other wood that might be used for this kind of look. Walnut's always pretty wood. So let's go ahead and put a walnut. That's nice and dark. So let's just see a few other things here in terms of maple. See what maple looks like. All right, not really going with the real good grain structure. So let's just kind of go with the cherry, see what cherry looks like. So there's our cherry. And let's go with the red oak. So there's the red oak. We're going to go ahead and keep this as red oak. So close this out. So we've applied that material of red oak onto it. And we have saved it. So just click File, Save again. So, and our passenger section for the Automoblock is now drawn.